like actual concrete ideas at the very least. But it's a step in the right direction.
A Russian jet has
Speaking of directions, we're going to move on to the Russian fighter jet who forced down a U.S. drone over the Black Sea after the intercept. That's right. What's happening? We're back on the war train, baby. Choo-choo, war. War train.
Forced down a U.S. drone over the Black Sea after damaging its propeller. CNN's Oren Lieberman is at the Pentagon gathering details on this. Oren, tell us what we're learning about this.
Brianna, this played out early this morning over international waters of the Black Sea, according to U.S. Air Force Europe. An MQ-9 Reaper drone, a U.S. Air Force surveillance drone or spy drone, was flying over the Black Sea when, according to the Air Force, 2 Russian fighter jets conducted what they're calling an unsafe and unprofessional interception. That's just the beginning of it. According to the Air Force, the 2 Russian Su-27 flanker fighter jets repeatedly flew in front of the MQ-9 Reaper drone, apparently in an attempt to disrupt or disturb its flight pattern, even dumping fuel in front of that U.S. Reaper drone. And then, according to the Air Force, one of those Su-27 fighter jets damaged the propeller of the Reaper drone, forcing it down. The propeller on a Reaper is behind it, so somehow that Russian fighter jet managed to damage the propeller, forcing the U.S. to bring down the drone in international waters. Of course, this is a very severe incident, and U.S. Air Force Europe issued a statement essentially referencing how severely they view this. Let me read you a part of this. This incident demonstrates a lack of competence in addition to being unsafe and unprofessional. These aggressive actions by Russian aircrew are dangerous and could lead to miscalculation and unintended escalation. According to the National Security Council, President Joe Biden was briefed on the incident earlier this morning by National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan. So he was given that information about how this played out earlier today. According to the NSC, there have been other interceptions between Russian and U.S. aircraft, but none as severe or as potentially escalatory as this, where we see an actual collision in midair between a Russian fighter jet and a U.S. drone that forced down the U.S. drone. Of course, the key question now, Brianna, how does the U.S. respond? How severely do they view this, and how deliberately do they view this? Certainly the statement from U.S. Air Force seems to say that the Russians were very deliberate in flying in front of the drone, dumping fuel in front of the drone, and then damaging the propeller, forcing it down eventually in the Black Sea. So now we'll wait to see how the U.S. chooses to...
They were doing, what is it called? They were dogfighting, but with drones. Also, why is there a CNN base inside of the Pentagon? That's kind of weird. What the fuck? What the fuck is that, bro? They're just streamlining it. You know what I mean? Remember a week ago when CNN was flying up and down the China Sea crying about how they're being followed by a Chinese fighter? Chinese balloon is the end of the world, but our drone is no big deal. Yeah, I don't understand, brother. What the fuck do you mean? If China sends a balloon over, anywhere near a goddamn airspace, you bet your fucking ass we're blowing that shit up. But when we send it to the Black Sea, it's completely allowed. Fuck you.
To respond to this incident, we have also reached out to the Russian Ministry of Defense for comment. Brianna?
And Oren, just to be clear, of course, the Ukrainian port city of Odessa there on the Black Sea, we don't know specifically where this happened.
It's our understanding, and it's worth noting, that we have been able to track the flights of many Reaper drones over the Black Sea over the course of the war and before. And they essentially fly an almost circular pattern, either in the western part of the Black Sea there, west of Crimea, or southwest of Crimea. We don't know exactly where this happened, but we have seen Reaper drones flying almost on a daily basis since the beginning of the war, and even earlier than that. We know Russian jets have flown as well. Of course, what's different here is the interaction, frankly, the collision between these jets. U.S. Air Force says it happened in international waters where both the U.S. and the Russians are absolutely entitled to fly under international law, but not like this. Brianna?
Certainly not. All right, Oren Lieberman, live for us at the Pentagon. Thank you. Let's talk about this now with General.
International airspace, though, that's real big I'm not touching you vibes. No, that's precisely what happened. They were like, so Turkish fighter jets and Greek fighter jets do this over contested airspace all the time, or like international territory all the fucking time, where they'll like fly next to one another. It's called dogfighting. They do it regularly. It's just that like this happened in this instance. Not only did it happen, but it also led to like one of the drones actually being forced to land. That is not what dogfighting is. I mean, they weren't like, it doesn't seem like they were doing You said dog fart, not dog fighting. Dog fighting is actual combat. No. Like no. What is it called? I thought it was called dog fighting when they fuck around with one another. It's like chicken. They play chicken. It's not supposed to be. It's not supposed to like actually deploy weapons or anything. But isn't that what it's called? It's intercepting. Yeah, I might have used the wrong term. But it's basically two opposing forces. A secret war between Turkey and Greece just turned deadly after a long history of dogfights over the Aegean Sea. A Greek fighter jet crashed and the pilot was killed after intercepting two Turkish F-16 fighters that had intruded into Greek airspace. While fatalities are unusual, Turkish ships have been violating Greek airspace for decades, and the incursions have happened over the years. Yeah, a lot of those is just like planes fucking flying towards one another, planes flying side by side with one another, but not necessarily like deploying weapons. And that's what they were doing. Notice how it's not contested zone. It's Greek airspace, by the way. Kind of different than international water. No, I mean, I'm explaining what they do. They do it all over. That's just, insiders' way of describing it. But they don't just do it over a Greek airspace. They do it all the time. Yeah, it is like saber rattling. Yes. The problem is you have to understand, as you correctly pointed out, Chatter, all airspace is U.S. airspace. We have bases everywhere. Okay? Why do we care about an unmanned aircraft getting damaged? Because America. Because it hurts our feelings. Because it's like a fucked up. Anything that threatens America's hegemonic power status is genuinely an issue. Do you understand? That's the main point here. Matt NLT, thank you for the 5 get the subs. That's what it is. That's the main point.
General Mark Hertling, he is a CNN military analyst, former commanding general, U.S. Army Europe and 7th Army. And David Sanger is with us as well. He is the White House and national security correspondent for the New York Times. All right, General, first off, I mean, just explain how significant this is.
This is typical of shadowing and intercepts in Europe, Brianna, truthfully. What you see is Russia does this all the time in international airspace, on top of international waters. Russia often considers the Black Sea their national lake, which is dead wrong. It doesn't apply that way. But you will see Russian aircraft continuously having these kinds of intercepts or shadows, but nothing like this. Airplanes get close. You certainly will see. There have been years where there are over a couple of hundred.
Yeah, it's wrong. It's America's like, look at that. That's our guy right there. You see that? That right there? That's NATO, brother. That's NATO territory. So it's our airspace. Greek airspace. Turkish patrol mission into Greek airspace. Yeah. This morning we tracked an unusual patrol mission. A Turkish Navy CASA made patrol mission into Greek airspace. As you can see in this map, Turkey doesn't recognize Greek view of exclusive economic zone, including also some Greek islands in the Turkish EEZ. Guys, understand this map. This is technically Greek airspace, okay? Like the moment that a plane fucking flies out of Izmir, it's in Greek airspace. Yeah, Taiwan does this with China. It's just like, come on. Like, understand that it's a little ridiculous, right? Especially, it's all Southeast Albania in reality. That it is all Albanian airspace, technically. Turks always escalating. Greece just trying to live. Yeah, I mean, I'd be trying to live too if this was my fucking sea border, brother. HasanAbi doesn't recognize the Greek islands. Bro, I mean, is this justifiable in your eyes? And these are both NATO countries too. Really? You look at this map and you go, nope, that's normal and good. Really? That's what you think this is normal and good? It's fair? You think this is fair? I'm biased. I'm Greek, sorry. I mean, come on. Like, yeah, it's not fair. Greeks deserve more. They should actually take Izmir and Manisa and Aydın and Muğla too. There's some good tourism. So this should also encompass the Greek airspace. Like, come on. Anyway, so just remember when they say like Turkish fighter jets are dogfighting inside of Greek airspace, they're here. This is Greek airspace that they're fighting inside of. Like, come on. Like, I don't mean, give those islands to Turkey, by the way. That's not even what I'm fucking stating. Okay? But it's crazy not to consider this to be like, at least give clearance to which, by the way, Turkey, that's why Turkey violates it, okay? Because it's ridiculous to be like, oh yeah, no, this is just like Greek airspace that you're inside of, sorry. Like, that's the reason why it is routinely violated. Like, it's shared airspace. That's fucking bananas. You might be biased. Bro, yeah, of course I'm biased, dude. Oh yeah, seems evenly distributed. I'm so biased. Like, come on, brother. That's an insane fucking assertion. Like, I'm not saying give the islands to Turkey, dumbass. Like, but that's insane if you think this is even distribution. Like, what is happening here? That's insane. Jesus Christ, dude. Yeah, line should be literally on top of Turkey, too. They should take Manisa, Izmir, all of that. Like, I'm not over here saying we should fucking annex Crete, okay? Which is where half of my family's from. But it's wild to be like, oh, wow, Turkey's doing dogfights in Greek airspace again when you understand what the fucking airspace looks like. Anyway, what are you saying? I'm saying that area is understandably shared, whether fucking countries or whether the international community decides it's fair or not doesn't change the reality that, like, it's ridiculous. Absolutely fucking unacceptable. Fair is fair. Like, the top of the hour ad break fairly targets every single person. If you no longer want to see those ads, in the interest of fairness, you can subscribe. Okay? You sound like an imperialist. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm going to lose my fucking mind, dude. It's like insane to look at this and go, wow, Hasan advocating for imperialism because, like, he thinks it's ridiculous to consider that, like, the Greek airspace touching Turkish landmass is normal. Please stop baiting me into this because there's people who unironically will say that. Yeah, I'm sorry. That's yeah. You know what? I should have abided by the Western world's understanding of what the limitations should look like. You're right. Yeah, I said the borders and airspace should be shared by these two neighboring nations who culturally are very similar to one another, even though they fucking constantly fight. And you're like, that's imperialism. It's such an American understanding of imperialism. Arctic Horizon, thank you for the 10 gifted subs. Be honest, if the U.S. took down a Russian drone, you would consider it an unnecessary act of aggression and you would not defend it like you do now? First of all, I'm not even defending Russia taking down an American drone. Like, it is unnecessarily aggressive. But you have to ask, what the fuck is an American drone doing in the Black Sea, brother? Like, you are the one who's patching that up. You are the one who's going, oh man, look at Hasan again, defending Russia. No, I'm not. But, like, do you know where America is on the map? Why is the American drone in the Black Sea? That's crazy. Arctic Horizon, thank you for allowing 10 people to no longer see the ads at the top of the hour, by the way. You too can avoid it if you subscribe for $5 or for free. Here's a 3-minute ad break now. But yeah, you're just like, bro, you don't understand. This is NATO airspace. Everything is American airspace. Like, it's funny because this literally happened. Like, this literally happened. Okay, Big Boy Gamer Man, thank you for the 5 get the subs. This happened where America shot down the Chinese balloon, right? That was literally a fucking, that did not have the same maneuverability, that did not have the same capabilities of flight that this drone has, right? And it accidentally fucking flew into American airspace, and then they blew it up because it flew over American land. They blew it up, okay? And now you got, yeah, bro, keep putting words in my mouth. Wait, what? Aiding Ukrainian defense, be honest. U.S. took down Russian drone. Wait. You said, yeah, bro, keep putting words into my mouth when I don't even know who the fuck you are or not even, like, really responding to you in general. But you just literally did that. Like, you did that right here. You just created a hypothetical and then assumed what my perspective was. I don't know who the fuck you are. I don't know anything. What the fuck? Anyway, like I was saying, we saw what happened when a foreign warring nation, a foreign adversary's like surveillance equipment trailed into American territory, right? which is a very commonplace thing, just like these drones are super commonplace, which, by the way, is something that countries do to one another all the fucking time, okay? Obviously, Russia doing this is it's saber rattling. It's saying like, oh yeah, you bring your fucking drone near the Black Sea, near our territory, we're gonna take it down, we're gonna fuck with it, right? Which is an act of aggression. But like, if you think that me going, why the fuck is there an American drone in the Black Sea is like defending Russia or something, I don't know what to tell you. You've already eaten the fucking bait, hook, line, and sinker, that you're just like, what? It's unimaginable that like America wouldn't have a drone in the Black Sea, you know?
These kind of things, incidents occurring every year, and it's normal procedures. But when you get this close and you interfere with flight paths of other aircraft, either manned or unmanned, it's certainly not under international law, and it's certainly going to create quite a distraction in this campaign. But as Oren just said, it's in possibly in western Black Sea region to the west of the autonomous region of Crimea. It's just Russia, again, interfering in international airspace with other aircraft.
David, how do you think the U.S. government is looking at this as they're trying to figure out how to respond?
Well, I'm pretty sure, Brianna, they're going to respond pretty calmly to it. I think they will denounce it, but it's an unmanned aircraft, and that means that fortunately there are no casualties. And I'm sure that President Biden is going to be thinking that what he's trying to avoid here is, of course, is an escalation with the Russians. Remember, his first goal in this war has been help the Ukrainians. His second goal in this war has been avoid escalation and anything that could lead to
I gotta
World War
pee.
III.
I'll be back.
Now, we've had surveillance craft taken down before. The most famous case in modern times was a Chinese collision with a manned American surveillance craft in international waters, as in this case. The Chinese pilot ended up being killed in that incident, and the Americans survived but were taken captive for a while, eventually returned to the United States. This does not rise quite to that level because it's unmanned, but it nonetheless tells you that the Russians are now willing to take more risks to push back on the American involvement in the war. And the question is, where does that end?
Yeah, where does it end? And certainly the U.S. is considered with escalation, concerned about potential escalation here, as we hear from the Air Force General. But I wonder if that isn't sort of the point. And I also wonder if, from Vladimir Putin's perspective, something like this happening in the Black Sea is perhaps good for him, a place where he has suffered some embarrassment, right? When you think about the flagship of the Black Sea Fleet being sunk.
I would not agree with that. I'm sorry. Go ahead, David.
Please, Mark, go right ahead.
No, I would not agree with that, Brianna. I think this is baiting. I think a pilot made a mistake. They were trying to, like Oren said, intercept, which means escort and see what's going on. But when you clip an aircraft to cause it to either land or crash, then you've got a different situation right now. Yes.
Well, there you go. It was a mistake. Oopsie. They're already saying it. Breaking news, a leak from Vladimir Putin's cabinet says Putin wants to use weaponized spy balloons for U.S. surveillance. CNN, 1-minute video. It has 1 views and 0 comments. I'm going to give you a week off for that, 12-month subscriber. Have fun with the poop sock on your own. There you go. Thank you for that, by the way, especially while we're in the middle of like serious news coverage. Breaking nudes, what?
Hello, it's me, Hasan, and I'm currently live on Twitch. You should click the link and see for yourself. You can customize my appearance with redeems and subscriber commands, all thanks to the world-famous genius entrepreneur Eamon Hawk.
What the fuck? Is my head getting smaller? What is happening? He has all my haircuts too? What the hell is this? Bro, HasanAbi has gotten out of control. Okay, we'll look at that later. We'll look at that in a little bit. Let's continue.
Russia has certainly been embarrassed in the Black Sea with the sinking of several vessels by a country that doesn't have a navy. That's Ukraine. But certainly when you're interfering with international aircraft in international airspace, that's not purposeful. That's baiting and it's interception. This is not something that where again, Mr. Putin is trying to puff up his chest a little bit and says, see what I can control in the Black Sea. These Reapers were more than likely not only looking for intelligence, but also overwatching some of the grain fleets that are going through embargoed territory out of Ukraine into the Bosporus and up the Danube Canal. So these are things that are all parts of this. Again, all this is conjecture on my part, what that Reaper was doing there. But certainly when a Russian aircraft interferes, clips it, and knocks it out of the sky, that's a little bit more serious. And we haven't seen one of those things happen since this war began.
Yeah, this is incredibly serious. And I wonder, David, how Vladimir Putin might respond to this versus how he might see this as something that obviously should be avoided, but how he might respond to this. You wouldn't expect that he's going to come out and give some heartfelt apology to the U.S.
No.
Wait, no, there's not going to be a heartfelt apology, which means we should do more droning, I think. Like,
He's certainly not. And, you know, think about...
is it serious or is it an accident? I mean, he made it seem like it was a regular intercept gone wrong. So I think that's it. That's basically, that's what you're going to get. If they were interested in banging the war drums, you think they would fucking say it like this? I mean, CNN is going to say that. CNN is going to be like, well, this is pretty fucking gross. It's a gross escalation of violent property damage. You know what I mean? Because, like, CNN is going to fucking do that. But when the Pentagon guy's like, yeah, it was just an intercept that went wrong, then all of a sudden, are you serious? I just gave a fucking week off to one guy for this. What is happening? Are you guys the fucking drones? My long-term community members are literally like NPCs, dude. They're just throwing themselves at the fucking...
The more recent case of the balloon, really another kind of surveillance vehicle that was over U.S. territory, and China complained when the U.S. took it down. But of course, in that case, it was clearly over U.S. territory. The key part here is this was in international waters. One of the big questions that Mark raises here, and that you do as well, is what's the level of intention? In other words, did Putin himself order this? Did the Russian military order this? Was this a Russian pilot who saw an opportunity and was sort of acting on his own? We may not know that, or it may take us a while to go figure that out. My guess is that right now the administration will denounce it, but that you won't see them take a similar action. And the reason for that is pretty clear. Putin has until now been pretty cautious about keeping the war inside Ukrainian territory. There have been some cyber attacks on Poland.
Dynamic Jab 13, thank you for the 5, get the subs.
But other than that, there has really been no case we've seen where they've gone into NATO territory, where they've shelled into that kind of territory. And I don't think Putin wants to bring NATO into this. So my guess...
Dude, this is so funny. Like, this is why I always say nation states do nation state shit. Okay. Russia's defense ministry said Tuesday that it scrambled fighter jets following the detection of a U.S. drone over the Black Sea, but denied causing the crash despite accusations from Washington. They said as a result of a sharp maneuver, the MQ-9 unmanned aerial vehicle entered an uncontrollable flight with loss of altitude and collided with the surface of the water. Yeah. The ministry said in a statement, adding that the fighter jets did not use their onboard weapons, made no contact with the UAV. They sound like our cops doing a report? Yeah.
Guess is that both sides...
I think they want to make this into a thing that it's not. You know what I mean?